everyone, welcome to Squirrel Brain Stories. Just a little reminder right here at the beginning, we're going to be talking about heavy topics. Please make sure to take care of yourself, reach out to a friend if this triggers something in you. Make sure you drink your water, take your meds, and just maybe if you're not in a good place, today is not the day for this, come back to us later.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Squirrel Brain Stories. I'm Angela, and I have here my co-host, Adria, and I have my husband, Buck, and I have my friend, Nico, and we are going to begin the journey to listening to his story. Nico and I grew up together in the same church cult, and we both started going there when we were young ones. So yeah, I wanted him to have a chance for his voice to be heard and get some of this weight off of his shoulders, and maybe more people want to come forward and tell their stories too.
That's the hope.
Yeah. Yep. There's strength in numbers. The more of us there are, the more strength we can give others. That's at least what I believe.
Yes, absolutely. Good to have a network.
Yeah. Yeah. So in the last episode, we kind of, went over how you arrive at the cult and, the very beginning days, and how you got sick, really, really sick, and were in the hospital. And when you came back, a lot of your stuff was disappeared. And we kind of went into the way you were treated by the leader's children. And you went into a little bit about your sleeping arrangement. You would sleep directly on the floor. And you were not allowed to speak with your mother. So when you through the like day-to-day life, who oversaw you? Just your dad or everyone?
I mean, I was sort of left to my own devices a bit.
Okay.
I would run around, between the houses, and I was always doing something. So
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of everybody sort of just kept an eye on me.
Okay.
And I don't think maybe for the purpose of he's a kid, we need to take care of him, but more like so they could report what I was doing, get me
Yeah.
in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least that's what it felt like.
Okay. And what about school? Because you were a lot younger than I was. So did anyone homeschool you?
Yeah, for the first maybe year and a half, I did spend a lot of time doing schoolwork with my mom.
Okay.
But by the time I was probably 10 or so, I mean, it kind of just,
Stopped.
yeah, I mean, because they didn't care about me
So,
learning.
geez. So, so what grade would you have been in if you had still been going to school? Do you think? Like fourth grade?
Yeah, about fourth grade.
So they
Uh-huh.
didn't so they didn't let you even finish fourth grade of school. Before you came to the church, were you going to public school?
hmm Yeah, no, I went to a few different public schools in the Portland area. Um, there was Billquist Elementary, which is over in Milwaukee, I think that's where we lived.
Okay.
Um, and then we lived at these apartments called the Crown Court Plaza, which were up on a hill by Johnston Creek. And I went to the school over there. The teacher's name was Miss Isa Taylor.
Okay.
And she was a good influence, but
So this is one of the aspects that I just can't believe there's not more oversight. And yes, I know, church and religion, they don't want to mix it up and stuff. But all of these kids in these kind of situations that all of a sudden end up going to public school, and their parent, if the school calls them, the parents say, oh, they're being homeschooled, but there's no follow-up. There's no, like, I'm pretty sure there's testing that the homeschool kids are supposed to be doing.
yeah,
There's just
I
no
took a test every
oversight.
year.
It's a truancy violation, right?
Yeah.
No, because when we moved in, my parents withdrew me from school and
Uh-huh.
enrolled me in homeschooling, I guess, basically. So I did take an aptitude test every year, which was required by the state.
But what about when they stopped homeschooling you?
Well, I still was given curriculum and school books, but it basically became my responsibility.
To teach yourself?
So what I would do is I would do my homework, and then I would grab the teacher's manual and correct it and see what I did wrong.
That's what I did for my homeschool. I homeschooled myself too for like a year after I first got to the cult, but no one ever took me to any testing. So when you were homeschooling yourself, did you still go to that testing?
Yes, every year.
Interesting.
Yep.
How they got away with you not doing it? Babe?
I don't know.
Well, I remember you were, from what I remember, at least what I perceived at the time, is you did still do some school, because I remember we would go to your mom's house for Bible study, and she had just had Jessica.
Yeah.
And
So they had me move in, or not move in. I would go there during the week when my little sister was born because they wanted me to babysit her. So then they re-enrolled, they got me back in school, but then when she was born, or after a while when they sent me back, then there was no more home stuff, no more schooling stuff.
yeah.
No, I think that's just crazy.
Yeah, if I hadn't put some real dedication and thought into my own schooling, I don't think I would even have a high school diploma, because I worked really hard for that.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Having to take it upon yourself to be responsible for your own education at 10 years old. And it's not like just going and getting on a school bus, you're having to teach yourself. That's just wild.
Yeah. I never understood how I passed any of those tests.
Hey, maybe they were bribed.
Or it's an indictment of the American educational system.
Yeah. Well, somehow I made it through and was able to. What I did was I did a GED program in Hawaii,
Okay.
and in order to get my diploma, all I had to do was take one's like basically a class, at least one credit. And they would give me a diploma if I passed my GED. So
Oh,
I took a summer school class at the local high school in Kaneohe, Castle High School. And I to this day I don't know how I did it because I literally did it myself. You know?
I
Um
know. Man, good job, Nico. You really were put in a lot of hard work and dedication.
yeah, well, I didn't I think that somehow I understood the importance of at least having a high school diploma.
That's good.
Um, yeah, so that was an experience.
Yeah.
Um, I
Wow.
I was just thinking about the interactions that we have, you and I.
Yeah. What do you remember?
Um, I just remember kind of being told, oh, she's rebellious, she's a bad influence, so stay away from her, um, type of deal. I remember one day we were coming home from somewhere, and you were in the driveway of the blue house, and I think you were smoking a cigarette, and you saw us pull up, and you put it behind your back really quick, and um, yeah, you got in trouble for that. um,
I don't even remember that. That's
yeah,
funny.
I don't know what made me remember that, but I just I always thought you were cool though,
Yeah.
because you're the older kid. You kind of, I mean, I know that you weren't doing whatever you wanted, but that's how they talked about you.
But
So I think I was kind of enamored by that,
I think that
you
was
know.
a ploy, a tactic that they used a lot. They they put all of us against each other.
Hmm. Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
say I've because I remember always hearing shit all the time about other people, like someone would be talking bad about someone else, and it was constantly going on. So they were constantly trying to pose us, make everyone an enemy of everyone. That way we don't come together, our minds don't come together, and we wake the fuck up. I think
Yeah,
that was a
yeah,
tactic. Keep
it
the
absolutely
distance,
was.
no one talks, and they can't come
Well,
out
and
of
keep an
the
eye on them
fog.
too, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was basically our job to watch other people and to report on them. Oh, I saw so and so doing, you know. um,
Isn't that
yeah,
crazy? The manipulation.
it
Sounds
certainly
exhausting.
uses
Yeah, that's putting it
oh yeah,
lightly.
Yeah.
yeah.
Man. So when you first moved in, you were living in that weird living room space. And when did you get like an actual room to live in?
I never did.
Oh,
I
you weren't
never
like in the brother's room?
I kind of floated around for a while there, so there was the point where all the guys were in the basement of the blue
Yeah,
house.
that big basement.
Um, So it's down there a lot.
How many guys do you think lived in that basement?
25,
25?
maybe 30.
Damn, in a basement. So it was basically beds, 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 beds.
Well,
Barracks.
yeah, I mean the important guys got, there were bunk beds around like the perimeter.
Uh-huh.
And then the other less fortunate people slept on the floor in the middle.
Less fortunate.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, it was very there were people that had favor and there were people that didn't. And if
Yeah.
you were perceived to deviate from mindless obedience, you were punished. And that happened in a myriad of different ways, physical, emotional,
So
sexual.
in this room of brothers, 25 to 30 brothers, were you the only minor that slept in the room with all of these adult men?
No, there were some other kids
There
too.
were.
Um,
Benjamin, or sorry, I shouldn't say his name.
yeah,
there
that's
was
kind of where
another
I was headed.
Caucasian kid, right? But they weren't there for very long.
They were there for a couple years, maybe, but then, God, I struggle with wanting to say people's names, but not wanting to because I don't want to.
Yeah.
See the first letter.
Well,
The dad?
yeah, there was a real estate agent and his family. I think we briefly talked to them about them the other day.
Yes.
And they bought a house, that house that was next to the empty field.
Yeah, the
in
one on the
front.
corner. Yeah. That
Mhm.
Primo took over, or Primo bought.
Oh, did he buy it? I don't know. But when they bought that house, then that boy and his family moved in there. And that was sort of after his sister was caught at the KFC with,
Samuel.
yeah, can you say his name?
We can say names for anyone that's illegal.
True.
Yeah, so after that whole thing went down, they kind of separated themselves and eventually ended up just leaving, I think.
I think she got pregnant by him.
She did get pregnant, but it was by some black dude. Because her first boy was.
Yeah, but she got pregnant again. But then I think she ended up miscarrying, but it was Samuel's baby.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. His wife, because they had been trying to get pregnant, him and his wife. And I remember her talking about that. But then when she miscarried, then she was over the situation and forgave him and stuff.
Which is so creepy. I remember after that ordeal, it was like they made him like separate himself from everyone. And he would lock himself in the living room of the Blue House, and that's where he would do his Bible studies. And I
Samuel?
just remember,
Interesting.
And I remember going in there one day.
Yeah,
I
because
don't,
she was even a minor. Like, so he got
yeah,
caught having sexual exchanges with her, and she was a minor.
yeah, yep. I went in there one day. I'm not exactly sure what I went in there for, but something happened, and he like grabbed me from behind and was like grinding himself on me and asking me if that's what I wanted. And I was just so
Wow.
terrified
How old
that
were you at this point? Like 10 or 12?
probably like 9.5 or 10.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Man.
yeah, so that was, to me, that was, I mean, I was already having sex with grown men at that point, but to have someone who was like considered one of the leaders, and um, it threw me off. Uh, and I just remember like struggling, and I ran away. And I took off because his boner was all up in my butt.
Oh my gosh. So how soon after you moved in did the sex abuse start, do you think?
It was pretty quick, because after we moved in, like a whole new shipment of people came. Um,
Oh, from
yeah.
Mexico?
Mhm. Um, so like
Emilio, Ishmael, Jacinto, all,
Santos, Delmar.
yeah, Felipe.
Mm-hmm. We picked up. Um, uh, yeah, I just I didn't understand it really because I was sleeping with this guy. Some reason like we were sleeping together, and he pulled my pants down and like started rubbing himself on me, and I was like, what are you doing? What's going on? I didn't understand.
Yeah, because you
Um,
were super little.
yeah, and kind of just snowballed from there. Um, First it was, oh, I forgot names. Well, it started with Primo's brother first.
Santos.
Yeah. And then I think I I don't know how the deal worked, but after that it was like it was pretty constant because I don't know if like he told people, and or like they could just smell it on me, and because as a person that's suffered abuse, you when someone is thinking about doing something to you, you know. And I think
That's,
maybe on the other hand, for them, they can just tell who they
yeah,
can abuse.
easy targets. Yeah,
Yeah,
you were an easy target. They had separated you from your mom. Your dad didn't have, you know, physical supervision of you throughout the day because he was busy doing his own stuff for Memo and not worrying about you. So yeah, when people, are when kids are neglected, and put around strangers that you don't really like. All of these guys had just come up from Mexico, and you're being completely entrusted to be around them with no parental supervision, sleeping in, a room full of 25, 30 men. Just the amount of trust that was given, it's mind-blowing how someone can have that much trust just because God is behind it,
I don't know if it's trust. I think it's just they didn't give two shits. I don't think that even crossed his mind. He didn't give a fuck about any of it. He just let the animals play. You know, he didn't care about anything until something was right in his face. And that only happens when a girl gets pregnant, right? And then you got to address it. Right. Yeah.
Because the one time that I decided that I was going to tell on someone, he took me on a drive with 4 or 5 of the guys that I had sex with on a regular basis, and basically threatened me and was like, do you remember what happened? And I was, well, yeah, of course I remember what happened. And he just kind of basically said, well, if you don't change, that's going to keep happening to you.
So
and
sorry, go ahead.
I just remember being so confused by that. Like, why? Why?
What were you supposed to change?
They would make fun of him because everyone perceived him as being too feminine, and they would make fun of him and say he was gay. And so I think he might have been insinuating that until you, I don't know, but
it was my fault. It was my fault for being the way that I was. And you're basically saying, if you don't correct yourself, it's just the way it is. And
that's some crazy fucking gaslighting right there. That's like next level. Like, this is happening to you because of the way you are, but it's going to continue happening unless you change the way you are. But also, you have no power to do anything about it because when you did take power, you turned it against you. That's some crazy gaslighting.
I never said another word after that about anything. And I remember, so embarrassing, but I after getting used to it, like, I actively sought it out because I thought that was, I don't know, it felt like the only sort of like positive interaction that I was allowed to have with anyone, if that makes sense.
Well, it was the only time when anyone would show any interest in you or show any affection or any feelings, right? Besides just dislike.
Yeah. I confused it with love.
Yeah.
And that's
because
not embarrassing, Nico. It's not. You were a child seeking comfort. And unfortunately, what was available were a bunch of fucking pedophiles.
Yeah.
And that, hearing you describe it as people you had sex with breaks my heart, because you weren't having sex with older men. They were raping you. They were assaulting you. That's what it boils down to. You had no responsibility in that.
Yeah, I wouldn't
That
classify it as having sex. I
no,
was thinking that same thing
abso-fucking-lutely.
too. You were 10 years old. There's
Yeah,
no way you can give consent for sexual interactions at 10 years old, you know?
even at 15, 16, you can't consent to shit like that, especially when the abuse started, at 9 years old. That
Yeah.
completely warps and poisons who you are and the way that you view the world.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Nico, it was just breaking my fucking heart to hear you take accountability for something that was completely on the adults that were allowed to be around you unsupervised.
Yeah.
100%.
That's bullshit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that
Makes you wonder what the hell's going on in Mexico, for fuck's sake. I mean, was this all happening in secret, or was it happening out in the open down there in the big bay with all the men around? Like, did everybody know? Was it just like only 5 or 6 of them know, and it was doing in closets, or was this like something that's happens all the time in Mexico, so nobody gives a fuck? Like, what is going on down there?
I
well, it
mean,
was definitely secret. It wasn't something that, like we're gonna go have an audience type of deal. But it happened everywhere. I mean,
It sounds like it's one of those open secrets, kind of like what happened to you, and when you got groped, like people saw, people
yeah.
knew,
Yeah,
but they don't think saying anything is going to do any good. You'll be punished because somebody noticed. They'll be punished because they opened their mouth and said they noticed it. So you just put your head down, keep your mouth shut, and hope you're not next.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I remember being caught one day with JJ. Like he
Yeah.
was actively inside of me. And this guy, I don't remember who he was, but he like walked in on it. And I jumped up and ran away. But then it was like this guy came and was like, okay, I'm not going to tell on you this time.
Tell on you? You mean tell
Yeah.
on the
Yeah,
adult that was
exactly.
abusing you?
Exactly, right? Because it's Nico's fault. It must be.
Like, what the actual fuck? Yeah, well, he
Yeah.
obviously didn't tell anyone about it. Because, yeah.
Or he did, and nobody cared because, I mean, that's one of the things that I talked to CPS about when they came to interview me before we moved to Hawaii, because somebody had told them, like, given them a list of names, and sat there and lied through my teeth about everything. Said no, that didn't happen. You know,
Wow.
I
Where do you
was
think
terrified.
where do you think they got the list of names from?
I was under the impression that um, I don't know how to the that the one family that lived in Clackamas.
Oh, okay.
I
The
don't know.
business
It was
owners.
me. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that was what I understood at the time.
Okay.
You know, that they had gotten names from somebody else and then they passed it along to BPS.
So what was that interview like?
basically,
Did they just ask you questions right there without removing you from the situation and then expect somehow you're magically going to have the courage as a child to, put yourself in danger and then go right back to the danger? Like, or did they remove you and then put you in a safe place? Like,
No, they took me to the kitchen.
That had a bunch of people around.
Wow.
No, I mean, technically they sent everybody out of the kitchen, but I mean, you remember the kitchen of the beach house that it didn't have any doors.
No.
And, so there was somebody down the hall listening to every word I said.
Well, then you're not only that, you're going to be put right back the next day or that, 15 minutes later.
Yeah.
And they're going to grill you about what you said or didn't say. There's, this seems like an astonishing level of stupidity. And I'm sure they do this around to abuse children everywhere, where they talk to them and the children lie because of course they're going to. You're being abused in that house and you're deathly afraid all the time. So what do they think is going to happen if they just leave you in that situation and don't remove you? Because it sounds like they had a credible source. There was an adult that came forward and reported it. This wasn't just like hearsay. I don't know. This seems like so many missteps, another institutional failure.
Yeah. Yeah, because, if there's one kid that's being abused in a place, like a cult like this, you would think that they would follow up and interview the other children as well.
When there's smoke, there's fire.
That didn't happen.
Yeah, no. I don't remember ever hearing that going on. That it did not happen.
Or they sent you to the park and pretended there weren't any children there.
That could have been when they sent us. Do you remember that, Nico, when they would send us all to the park when they would say immigration was coming?
Yeah, we would run for our lives.
Two white kids in Portland running from immigration. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's so silly to think of now, but that was a really big source of fear.
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah.
Did you guys not connect the dots? Did you know what immigration was? Or just hadn't?
I just knew that they
were bad people.
Yeah, they would take people away from where they wanted to be. And that was so terrifying because even though we were sort of separated out because we're not one of them, we had their insecurities and fears shoved on us.
Yeah.
So we were more likely, I guess, to protect them because we thought.
Well, if they had to carry that burden and suffer that, we had to too. Because we could not, we had to be the minority. So if there was something they were suffering, we had to suffer the same.
Yeah. Misery loves company.
Shared trauma.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Do you guys think that the haphazard way these institutions checked on you is related to the influence that Memo had in the community. And I know you've talked about he and his little circle of minions were fairly well respected. Do you think that's why you guys always had a heads up before immigration came? Because somebody had to tip him off for you
I
guys to be able to get out of the house.
I honestly think it was immigration. I think it was more likely that it was a CPS check, or it was just to keep everyone living in fear and Memo in control.
So you think it's a possibility there was never anyone coming?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was a tactic. What do you think, Nico?
It absolutely was a tactic for controlling people because we were considered a church. We had a 401c3, we're a nonprofit organization, and we were considered a sanctuary, which immigration could not enter unless they were given permission. So they were all safe there. There was no danger of them being deported because, again, sanctuary. They couldn't come in and take them away. And that's why they renovated the attic and made it a hiding spot, you know.
Yeah, they'd send them up there all day in the summer. Remember that?
Yep.
I'm surprised no one died up there.
Myself.
You were up there too?
Oh, yeah.
Hiding in the attic. Oh my
And you guys
God.
never heard anybody coming or any cars pull up or anybody?
No.
Yeah, it sounds like a
No.
mind control is what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Funny to
weird.
think about. Yeah.
Keep everybody on their toes and value the protection they have.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Crazy.
That's crazy. Man. So with your back to your daily living, so was your day full of reading the Bible all day long too, besides the time where you were like busy doing stuff?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we
Yeah.
woke up at 5 in the morning, you know, and we'd have maybe half an hour to get ready. And then it was to the kitchen. We'd be there until noon. And then we'd have a break to do our chores. And then right back for Action Bible Study at 3 p.m. And that would go until 5. And then, you know, another opportunity to do more chores, maybe have dinner. And then 7 p.m., right back at it until midnight. So pretty consistent,
Yeah.
consistently like being indoctrinated, like having it pounded into you.
Yeah.
There wasn't much time to think about anything else.
No, they didn't want you to have time for yourself. That's why it's hard now as an adult to just sit down and do nothing. I struggle with it so much. I mean, it doesn't help that I have ADD and ADHD, but I feel guilty. I'm getting better about being lazy. I feel like it's being lazy, but I'm getting better about being lazy and just sitting around after work for like 2 or 3 hours and not doing a damn thing. It's the best feeling ever, but I still struggle with, not being like busy, because that was something that was ingrained into us. We had to be busy. Like, if you're not busy doing something, you're being selfish.
Yeah. You always have to be serving someone.
Yeah.
If you have time to read, you have time to clean, that sort of mentality.
Yep.
Yeah, I was babysitting, doing laundry, taking care of the animals, sweeping the floor, vacuuming. It's a living maid.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Washing walls. Who washes walls? I mean, I guess
I
if you
do.
have 100 people touching the walls, all day, walking past walls all day, I mean, I guess that's why walls get dirty. But yeah, man, fucking wall washing.
Yeah, I remember washing the walls. I think there was also probably a mold problem too that kind of played into that as well. Um, because Oregon, and we lived right by the freeway, so
Yeah, all the dust from the cars.
yeah, yeah. Um,
I
crazy.
wonder what our neighbors thought about us because seeing how many people coming or going, but there's never any kids playing outside. There's not even a yard. Like, you know, like the neighbors just thought it was normal or we were the
No,
weirdos.
our neighbors hated us.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if you remember George, but he was one of the older guys that lived in that apartment building behind the beach house.
No, I never knew
Um,
about him.
yeah, well, he was like an older, I think he was gay, like an
Oh,
older
okay.
gay guy. And he was always calling the city and making reports and complaining because we're
Really?
too loud. Yeah, always. He was a huge thorn in Mema's side for a lot of years. And then there was this other gentleman that lived in that same apartment complex that had a daughter.
Yes, the
And she
daughter. Yes. What do
committed
you know
suicide.
about her?
Molly was her name. And I didn't know that much about her, but I remember her talking to me, like she would talk to me over the fence.
Okay.
And she was just the sweetest person, but she had that real rough exterior, she was like goth and real rebellious, always doing her own thing, tattoos or whatever. I was intrigued because I was just this little kid, and this
Well,
pretty girl was talking.
what I knew about her, I heard Memo say he was telling some other people they were trying to get her to come to the church, to the cult, and
Yeah.
it was because she was like into witchcraft and she used Barbie dolls to masturbate. That's what I overheard Memo telling someone, so I was like afraid of her. I'm like, oh, she's a
Yeah.
witch and she does stuff with her private parts with Barbie dolls.
Yeah. Yeah. No, oh, they talked mad shit about her all the time. And that's why I think I was so surprised when we would talk because she didn't seem like a bad person to me,
Yeah.
So I was really, really confused. And then when she died, I was horrified because I thought it was partially my fault. I was talking to this girl and I somewhat knew her, to an extent, and I didn't convince her to like convert. So I was horrified. I was, that was really rough for me because it was the first time, my first, I guess, experience with suicide. And I just couldn't understand why she would do that.
Yeah. That's sad. A lot of
Yeah.
people feel like it's their only option out of, escape, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, well, she had a hard life.
Yeah. I didn't know much
Her
about
dad
her.
was not a nice person.
Really.
Yeah. I barely knew him. He's the guy who lived behind us, but he was always yelling at her, calling her
Wow.
names. I just remember being so sad for her.
Wow.
And then we went to her funeral. Yeah, that was insane for me.
I don't remember hearing about a funeral, but that's crazy.
Yeah, no, they marched us up to her casket, and we had to stand there for like 5 minutes, hearing a
Oh,
lecture about, following God and repenting, or this will happen to you.
oh my gosh.
Jesus, that is.
At her funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's some dark shit right there.
And that was Memo
Yeah.
that was giving that sermon.
And it wasn't even a sermon. We were just there at her viewing, and he did like a little impromptu, this is what's going to happen to you if just more threats.
Wow.
Another control tactic, because that's terrifying, especially as a little kid. You
Yeah.
just saw them a few days before, and now like you're looking at their body, and her head was like 3 times the size that it should have been because she shot herself. So
And they
Had an
wanted you.
open casket after she shot herself?
Yeah.
Holy.
Yep.
And Memo wanted all of you kids to see that. Wow.
Was this before you got there, babe, or how did you get escaped?
I don't even know I don't know where I was. I never heard about this. I just knew about the
Was this
crazy
during
daughter.
your wedding or something? Were you being married? Was this later on when you were like 16 or?
No, I want to say that happened before you got married.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I never heard about it, but information had its ways of staying siloed within the cult community.
Depending on what house you were in or what group
What
you were
house
around.
you were in or which leaders knew the information,
Which clique you were a part of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like there was kind of not a hierarchy, but like levels of clearance, right? If you were at the bottom tier, you only knew shit nobody cared about.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and you honestly, you craved you craved the information that other people had because it meant that you were trusted.
Yeah. So crazy.
Yeah. Validation with information. Weird.
Yeah. That's crazy. With you being so little, like who took care of making sure that you ate? Were you responsible for figuring out your own food at 9 years old?
Yeah, I mean, I just
went in the pantry and grabbed a muffin, a cupcake.
muffins, cupcakes. My favorite were those raspberry filled croissants that we got from Costco.
Oh, that sounds good.
I still dream about those.
I don't think I ever had one of those, but I wasn't much of a croissant person. I still am not that much of a croissant person. Oh, no.
Oh, give me all the croissants. I like butter.
Oh, I like butter. I have
Drives my husband nuts.
been known to eat a spoonful of it. But that was on when I was like doing keto, you needed to get your macros. And if you were short on butter, the easiest way is just, or oils, easiest way is getting some extra oils, just eat a spoonful of butter.
Right?
Wow.
Dirty, dark, deep secrets over here.
Right.
Another thing I'm curious about, Nico, is since you really didn't, once you came to the house, your relationship with your mom kind of got blocked. Who took care of your needs? Like if you needed toothpaste or a toothbrush, or if you needed a new pair of shoes or some clothes or socks or underwear, like who provided that for you? Because I know no one provided that for me. The protege mom that I had, she would like buy me toothpaste or buy me some pads if I was on my period, and then clothes like through donation. But what about, how was it for you?
Yeah, I lived out of the donation box,
Yeah.
I the necessities like toothpaste, shampoo, that was usually provided by my parents.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, other than that, it was just like the real basic things. Like I never got any treats, or I mean, if I was lucky, Memo would take me to the Nike outlet and buy me a pair of shoes that were like 3 sizes too big, you know.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
and I lived for those moments because it's like, whoa, something new.
Yeah, that's
But
crazy.
yeah, no, I can't imagine what a ragamuffin I must have looked like, because
You weren't the only one. Trust me.
I know. Um, yeah, so and the food thing, it's like I had to like hide to eat, and
You
that
have,
became I had to hide because if they saw me eating,
they would make fun of
I
you.
mean, yeah, this is a little fat kid. He doesn't need more food.
Has that transferred at all to your adult life or any kind of carryovers of that nature?
Absolutely. Oh my God. I mean, I remember for a while I was living with my uncle and his wife and kids. I went to stay with them, when I had moved back to the Portland area as an adult, early 20s or whatever. And there's such a stigma around food for me. If I was in the kitchen, like looking for something to eat, as soon as somebody walked in, I would like visibly get scared and put whatever I was getting back and take off, and
Wow.
I think they didn't understand that, I think, and they thought it was so odd. Like, why are you afraid to get food? Because I
Because
wasn't
it
allowed.
because it brought you shame.
Yeah, and it still does. Me and food have a real love-hate relationship, uh, and I've
Yeah.
struggled with my weight all of my life. Um, and then, with all the illnesses that I've dealt with, one of the big ones is called gastroparesis,
Oh yeah.
where your stomach just gets paralyzed and you're not able to
Move food
For
along.
like 7 years, I threw up every single day,
Wow.
multiple times a day. Like my teeth are shot because of it. And that's why I had a gastric bypass, because they were like, oh, well, let's bypass your stomach and maybe it will get rid of the. No, I just have a whole host of other problems. But
Wow. That's
at
crazy.
least I don't throw up all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you ever remember your parents or anyone else ever doing anything for your birthday, Christmas, or any other holidays?
Definitely not Christmas. We weren't allowed Christmas. I'm sure you remember that. In fact, the most Christmassy thing that I remember was Scotia's mom. Every year she would like load up a box full of different candies and stuff. And when that came, they would share it with everybody. And I
Oh,
looked forward to that. That was as much like holiday as we got, peanut M&Ms from Scotia's mom. Um, but yeah, no birthdays. For me, that was already kind of weird because, I was born the day before my mother's birthday. So it was kind of like we somehow were usually combined. And then, once we were in the cult, it was kind of looked down on. I mean, they would celebrate people's birthdays all the time, you know, um, but I can't remember ever really having a birthday that I enjoyed, and that's kind of like spilled over into my adult life, unfortunately. My birthday is kind of just it's another day, and I don't usually get what I want, so um kind of just
yeah. Yeah.
unfortunate because, like
Did
my
your did your dad or mom celebrate their own birthday?
not really,
Okay.
not really. I mean, because they were living in poverty, so it wasn't like they could,
Yeah. How do you think they even managed to have for like necessities? Because neither one of them worked.
well, we everything was provided.
You
Um,
just had to
Nice.
have faith.
yeah, yeah. Uh, I don't know. We went without a lot.
Yeah.
I have a question, like Nico. So after you left the cult and you clearly had some uh, communication or you went back to some of your extended family. Did they know what was going on? Did you find out that everybody was worried, or have you kind of reconciled with some of your extended family in that regard?
Yeah, my uncle and his family was really there for me. Uh, as an adult, like I said, in my early 20s, I was living with them for a while. And they were involved too, not to the extent I think that we were, but they had lived in Virginia for a long time because my uncle was in the Navy. And when they came back to the Portland area, they stayed in the cult for
Oh.
a little while. Um, and so I mean, some of my family I have, others it's kind of, I mean, we were just cut off for so long that it didn't, I don't know. I think that some of them kind of just gave up. you know, it is what it is type of deal. But I mean, I don't know. It's all my.
Yeah, that's great. That's sad. But yeah, isolation from someone for so long, I mean, that can just make them feel like a stranger and like there's no connection, you know, I guess.
It also makes it hard when you have separate parts of your family that are connected to the cult, right? Because it's not just like one brother and his wife that are in this cult. It's the uncle is connected, and it makes it even harder to like find someone that's going to understand. And then if you have 10, 15 years of this go by, eventually they just kind of write you off. And even if they don't actively write you off, there's no relationship there. So like, how do you have that conversation? Yeah, that isolation is a powerful thing they do.
Yeah.
It carries on for generations, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think we're at a point where we probably can wrap up for today. Right, guys? You think we're at a good spot? Yeah. Okay. Okay, everyone. Well, make sure to listen to the trigger warning. Again, email us any questions, squirrelbrainstories@gmail.com. If you haven't heard the episodes yet, come find us. Do you guys have anything to say?
I mean, like, subscribe, leave a comment, all that good stuff.
All the things.
All the things, leave a review.
Yes,
Thank you, Nico, for being here and sharing such personal parts of your life. I think we all appreciate what you're doing. And while some of us may not directly understand, we love to hear these stories because we hope that we can do something about this and shine a little more light on this. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And being so brave too, Nico.
Yeah.
This has been a huge step for you to get to this point where you're ready to talk about it and share your story. You know, that's a huge step. And it just shows how strong you are. So don't think otherwise. Okay?
Well, I appreciate that.
Okay, everyone. We will see you next time. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Toodles.